Picture waking up to the rumble of a man grunting as he slaps paint onto your beloved cedar fence, transforming its weathered grain into an ugly shade of soulless taupe. That's how my Tuesday began at 7:03 a.m. with Vince Larson, the HOA president, desecrating our family's hand-stained fence as if it were a personal slur. I walked in on the porch, still wrapped in my Star Wars blanket bowl of cereal in hand, and came to a standstill. Vince in khaki shorts and a sharp HOA polo was painting with the self-satisfied exactitude of a fellow alphabetizing spices. Grandpa burst out shortly after barefoot in boxers, clutching a shotgun as if it were his morning coffee. "That had better be washable," he growled. Vince didn't budge. He smiled a grin that could curdle milk and said, "Section 12C requires uniform perimeter aesthetics." That was when Grandpa issued his war to grasp what ensued. You need to know Vince, his 1955 Ford Thunderbird buffed to a mirror finish, is his one love parked diagonally in his driveway like a trophy. He's the type of guy who utters visual synergy without irony, and has set out to make Oakage a sterile suburb without kids, without a clear job and an arsenal of clipboards. He's a tyrant in loafers. Grandpa, a retired muralist who once got banned from a gallery for ornamenting Picasso. Sketch is his counterpart. He refers to condos as cement prisons, and views our fence, each knot and each crack, as a living history. Following Mom bringing us in with him after divorce, he vowed to guard the house's soul, beginning with that fence. So Vince's taupe attack was not vandalism, it was sacrilege. The following morning, I spotted Grandpa at the back of the shed stirring some stuff in a soda bottle. "What's that?" I queried retribution. He smiled. It was heavy-duty rust accelerator, the type used to strip battleships that afternoon while Vince was away purchasing flagpole toppers. Grandpa snuck over and dribbled it down the Thunderbird's chassis like seasoning a steak. "Rust speaks truth," he said with a wink. By morning the car resembled one dredged from a swamp, paint-peeled chrome, curled rust flourishing like a disease. Vince's scream was animal, a wail that awaked dogs 3 streets away. He did not weep. He roared, grasping his head as neighbors peeked out. Suppressing giggles, he suspected Grandpa at once, particularly as Grandpa was relaxing in a lawn chair drinking lemonade through a straw in the shape of a cactus. But without evidence, Vince couldn't lash out directly. Instead, we received a $350 fine for non-compliance with fences, complete with a snapshot of our now peeling fence and a sarcastic note. "Consider tough paint next time," Mom was angry, scolding us on no more wars, literal or figurative. She wished to appeal in proper channels, but Grandpa laughed. "Channels are for cowards and taupe enthusiasts." He groused something about having been HOA president once. "Years ago, I blinked you serious." He did not reply that evening beneath a hum of patio light. We convened our first war council, christened the Porch Rebels. It was me, Grandpa, and Mrs. Gorman from next door, who showed up in slippers with a jar of jam and a tire iron. Grumbling about Vince's no birdhouses rule, we organized a daring action. 40 neon green garden gnomes set in place to read freedom rules on our lawn at dawn. Vince almost gagged on his protein shake. He stormed over, taking pictures, grumbling, "You want anarchy? I'll give you anarchy." In a matter of days, we received 2 additional fines, and Vince organized a community meeting to preach neighborhood watch. Grandpa called it khaki authoritarianism, but the uprising was spreading. Neighbors tired of Vince's regulations on mailboxes and hedges began whispering and yelling. Our second session was a mess: jam jars, gnomes, and a conspiracy chart constructed from taco boxes. Grandpa had charted Oakage like a war zone, labeling Vince Toop. Overlord Mrs. Gorman brought her dog. Captain Bark excluded from Vince's garden for threatening loitering. I brought Chip's rebellions require snacks. Vince had penalized us for the gnomes, declaring them visual anarchy. Grandpa gave each gnome a name and declared them therapeutic art. Gaining another penalty, Mrs. Gorman added wee sunglasses to every single one, filling our lawn with a dreamlike protest. Vince pushed back with new regulations. Trash cans a precise 16 inches from the curb lawns, exactly 2.5 inches high. He measured with a ruler, smiling like a dictator. One evening, Grandpa snuck in with a gnome, wired with a secret camera pointing at Vince's house. "Surveillance is art," he said. The video was gold, Vince ranting about absolute HOA power and squashing the gnome insurgents. He even practiced a speech about eternal compliance. This wasn't a prank anymore, it was a power grab. Mrs. Gorman tipped us off about Vince's monthly HOA conference, a chance to infiltrate their office. Grandpa claimed he still had a key from his president days. Mom had grounded us for the gnomes and banned Grandpa's paint rollers, but we went anyway, disguised as mole mashers. Pest control. My shirt was convincing, but our bikes parked out front weren't the HOA storage closet of regret and toner file cabinets. Tinsel and too many clipboards we rooted around in drawers and discovered a folder full of dodgy invoices. $2,800 for emergency paint stock, $900 for executive lawn consultation, and a receipt for a luxury pergola construction to the Community Plaza Fund. Our plaza, a dismal patch of dirt by the dog park. No pergola in view. He's embezzling, Grandpa whispered. The paint was a cover to launder money to his backyard back home. We spread the papers as detectives, but a newspaper clipping froze me in place. A young grandpa in front of our house headlined Oak Ridge's youngest HOA president promises creative change. I stared. You were Vince, Grandpa sighed. I tried to make things better, but power twists you. The next day, Vince banged on our door, thrusting a notice into Mom for a probe on compliance into our vandalism and gnome terrorism. He glared at Grandpa. One violation more, and I'll initiate foreclosure. He tripped over a gnome on exiting. Cursing Mom snapped, asking for explanations. Grandpa owned up to the gnomes, but not the rust. I won't apologize for soul, he said. Mom threatened to evict us, sick of the chaos. Even Mrs. Gorman cautioned, but Grandpa doubled up. It's not only the fence, it's who calls the shots in our home. We put together the gnome video bills and a filmic presentation using cinematic zooms. If Vince had wanted war, we'd zapped him with truth. His paranoia heightened. He put up cameras hiding behind wind chimes. When a spooky, owl-eyed owl, his cousin Gary, a paint forensics expert, sniffed the Thunderbird, grumbling about intentional corrosion. We were going to go public, but Vince preempted us, ordering a surprise inspection. He and two on-edge board members complained about our fence uneven gnome placement, and even our mulch pile grandfather brought him iced tea. Unfazed that evening, we posted to Tyranny HOA Fraud, uncovered a clip of Vince's tirades, pergola drone views, and receipts of his backyard oasis. It went viral overnight, garnering 4,000 hits in a single night. Comments flared, "He locate my porch light. That pearl is not public." Vince's denouncing email lies and recognized propaganda bombed at his emergency HOA meeting. Grandpa projected the projector. The room quieted as he spoke not only of Vince's stealing, but of a neighborhood smothered by rules. Vince constructed our home's checklists as he built his castle with our funds. He presented the pergola invoice. Vince's attorney referred to as plotting foreclosure. The audience outburst, calling for audits recalls. Vince's followers ran away. Then pandemonium, a sparkler lit. In fun ignited, citronella torches in Vince's car trunk, causing a small blaze. The Thunderbird's alarm shrieked. Captain Bark leaped on Vince, who tumbled into a cheese tray. The gnome cam recorded it all. The video went viral, headlined HOA King's Fiery Fall. Vince escaped to a condo in Miami for rumors. The HOA planned a recall, and an audit revealed more $5,000 for upscale snacks, $2,000 for compliance seminars. The pergola was confiscated as public property. Mom hesitated on moving, but neighbors came with paint to transform the fence into a mural. Each family contributing a piece gats. Roses, even Vince pursued by gnomes. We painted our side, the original grain of the fence, with a camera carrying gnome. Then Vince came back, filing to recover the HOA, citing voting irregularities. The community rallied, voting him out permanently. They gave him a gnome-tagged responsibility. Mrs. Gorman took over as president, wearing a glitter shawl, and made the rules simpler. Fines became volunteer hours, fences were expression zones. Mom said peace was not about places. My vlog, Fence Fight Chronicles, escalated, encouraging others to resist. HOAs. A kid sent a clip of his dad planting ceramic frogs in protest, saying, "For the gnome guy." Grandpa chuckled. The mural fence stood a story of rebellion. One gnome remained on the porch wearing shades and a taupe slayer sticker. Grandpa raised his tea. let them try again.